Hey everyone, welcome to our channel, Liftoff. We provide SpaceX news and updates and also update you on important developments in the space race. In this episode, we have updates on SpaceX launches this month and Starship orbital test preparations. We will also talk about Air Force Rocket Cargo Initiative and possible upcoming deals for Starlink to provide in-flight internet for airlines. Before we move on the updates, please subscribe to our channel. If you enjoy your time with us, please like us and share. Here is a roundup of SpaceX updates. SpaceX gained military officials' trust. On June 17th, SpaceX sent a fresh GPS navigation beacon designed to replace a nearly 17-year-old satellite into orbit from Cape Canaveral on top of SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, marking the first time US military space officials have agreed to launch a national security mission on a reused commercial booster. After a smooth countdown, the 229-foot-tall, 70-meter Falcon 9 rocket lit its 9 Merlin main engines and rumbled off Pad 40 at Cape Canaveral Space Force Station at exactly 12:09 p.m. on Thursday. The booster, designed B-1062 in SpaceX inventory, previously launched and landed last November on a mission to carry the most recent GPS satellite to space, making its second flight. After flying into the communications range of SpaceX ground station in Hawaiian, California, the rocket deployed the GPS satellite at 1:38 p.m., nearly an hour and a half after launch. Lockheed Martin, which built the satellite, confirmed ground team established contact with a new GPS spacecraft shortly after separation from the Falcon 9 rocket. Over the next 1 or 2 weeks, the satellite will use its own orbit-rising engine to maneuver into a circular medium Earth orbit, 12,500 miles above Earth, at an inclination of 55 degrees. If all goes according to plan, the new satellite, nicknamed Neil Armstrong, could be transitioned to the control of Space Force operations within 2 weeks of launch, according to Cole Edward Bryan, Senior Material Leader of the Medium Earth Orbit Division at the Space and Missile Systems Center. Including Thursday mission, SpaceX has launched 67 reused boosters with a flawless success record since the March 2017. SDA's first in-space experiment. The U.S. Space Development Agency has 5 satellites riding on SpaceX Transporter-2 rideshare mission, scheduled to launch June 25th. There's nothing in space business that gets your blood pumping like the idea of launch, especially if you got multiple satellites. A senior Space Development Agency official told reporters on June 22nd. Transporter-2 is expected to carry as many as 88 small satellites from commercial and government customers to sun-synchronized polar orbit. SDA's 5 payloads include 2 pairs of satellites to demonstrate the laser communication links and 1 to demonstrate how data can be processed and analyzed autonomously aboard a satellite. SDA's experiments were done in collaboration with the Defense Advanced Research Project Agency and the Air Force Research Laboratory. These are SDA's first in-space experiments since the agency was established in 2090. SDA is developing a network of satellites in low Earth orbit for military communications and for missile defense. The first batch of satellites is scheduled to launch in late 2022. XIM is back in the space game. The Export-Import Bank of the United States has arranged to finance the SpaceX launch of a Hispan satellite, the first space deal the bank has done in 6 years. XIM announced June 21 that it approved $80.7 million in financing for a Falcon 9 launch of a Hispan satellite, Amazon's Nexus, as well as launch and initial in-orbit insurance. The bank said the financing will be in the form of either a direct loan or a loan guarantee. The Spanish operator announced in early 2020 it ordered Amazon's Nexus from Thales Alenia Space. The 4,500 kilogram satellite will replace Amazon's 2 at 61 degrees west in geostationary orbit. At the time of the contract announcement, Hispan said it expected to launch the satellite in the second half of 2022. BPI France export credit agency, is financing the construction of the satellite. The deal was notable because it was the first space industry deal financed by the XIM since 2015. The Export Credit Agency was sidelined for several years by a lapse in its authorization and the lack of quorum on its board, which prevented it from approving deals larger than $10 million. The Senate restored the quorum by confirming 3 nominees for the board in May 2019. An omnibus spending bill signed into a law in December 2019 authorized the bank for 7 years, the longest reauthorization in bank's history. Trouble in the House of Space, Science and Technology. NASA Administrator Bill Nelson will appear at the committee meeting of the House Science, Space and Technology Committee on Wednesday. And the meeting could be full of intrigue when the subject of NASA Artemis program to land humans on the moon and SpaceX comes up. We can probably expect some happy talk as Nelson, who as a US Senator in 2011 championed the development of the Space Launch System rocket alongside Kay Bailey Hutchison, referenced the recenter stacking of the booster core stage with its solid rocket motors at Kennedy Space Center. After a decade and more than $20 billion in cost, NASA's large SLS rocket is indeed finally getting closer to its first test launch. But the real intrigue will involve the human landing system needed as a part of the Moon program to take astronauts down to the lunar surface and back up to the orbit. In April, due in part of lack of funding from Congress, NASA selected SpaceX, its Starship vehicle, as the sole provider for critical components of Artemis. The space agency awarded $2.89 billion to SpaceX for the lander. Bill Nelson has supported the contract because he knows it's the only real chance that NASA has to make a 2024 landing. But he has repeatedly asked Congress for more funding so that NASA can support a second lander contract, either via the Biden administration's job and infrastructure bill or as a straightforward budget addition. The money would principally fund the development of a second lander, likely the one being designed by a Blue Origin-led team, as well as some pro-kill NASA projects. As part of its version of the Endless Frontier Act, the House Science Committee skipped authorization fundings for a second lunar lander. A U.S. representative from Seattle, near where Jeff Bezos' Amazon and Blue Origin companies are based, offered a stinging rebuke telling the Wall Street Journal, if Jeff Bezos wants to explore space, that's great, but I don't think he needs federal dollars. So, it seems clear that the House will not just throw more money at NASA for a second lunar lander. At the same time, the House is fairly hostile towards SpaceX and commercial space. The chair of the House Science Committee, Dallas Eddie Bersin Johnson, said he was disappointed after NASA selected SpaceX as its sole provider of a lunar lander in April. Thank you for joining us today. Please like us and hit subscribe button so we can notify you when the next episode is available. Until next time, it's bye for now from all of us at Liftoff.